What is up YouTube? And it is finally here, the trailer for The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves, featuring Robert Pattinson, is finally here, and it is so very good. I am a huge fan of Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson. If you're kind of still in the twilight phase of Robert Pattinson, go and check out the movies such as The Lighthouse and Good Time, because they are modern classics. We have a lot to break down in this trailer, and I just love the fact that they started off the trailer and had throughout playing Something in the Way by Nirvana, which is, in my opinion, one of their best songs. So before we jump in, please do consider subscribing with notifications on, and please do drop a like down below if you did enjoy the video. It is greatly appreciated. So let's jump in. The trailer starts off with Paul Dano's The Riddler taping up a victim. The face is all taped up with "No more lies" written on the face. And Jim Gordon, played by Jeffrey Wright, who is just so great in Westworld, appears, and he's not actually the commissioner just yet. Every character is early in their life cycle of either law enforcement or crime. The crime scene is the main part of the trailer, as Batman is handed a classic clue from the Riddler. But it doesn't look too much like his older ones, and the suit looks great. It's only year 2 for Batman, and Matt Reeves said it isn't a proper origin story, but we will see part of his origins, presumably referring to this being very early on in Bruce's career. The Riddler seemed to focus on someone called Don and brands him a liar. Gotham is incredibly corrupt, so this, or at least the characters, must be planting evidence and be in the Falcone's pocket and just wrapped up in other awful stuff. This is the mayor, Don Mitchell Jr., and this corruption must lead the Riddler to become his own twisted version of a vigilante. I would expect that he's seen the Batman and then has decided he'll do his own thing. I expect this to be Batman's realization that while he thinks he's doing good, his work does have consequences. So what he does early on in his career when he's new and making mistakes has possibly led to this happening in this movie. A clue as to why the Riddler may be targeting the Batman, it might lie in the fact that Batman may show bias to Wayne Industries, or the Riddler may have some information on Batman being connected to Bruce Wayne, and of course Bruce Wayne's father may have also been included in the corruption linked to the Falcone family. That has been shown in different media, and of course a huge rich family in Gotham would of course have a lot of secrets. I think they're playing into the idea that Thomas Wayne may not be that much of a nice guy like we saw in the earlier movies. The clue says, what does a liar do when something is quite cut off there? Dead. Well, he lies still, does he not? There are clues on the card that are symbols, which is very Zodiac style. The Zodiac Killer being one of the most infamous and kind of mythological and kind of another word for people thinking that it's a huge character. It was real, and he was a killer in San Francisco, and he's never actually been caught, and it was also a great movie as well, so you can go and check that out. But he seems like he's playing a Zodiac-style serial killer. On the front is an owl who is a natural predator of bats, which, of course, Smarty Pants Riddler would actually know. Owls also being the basis of the Court of Owls, Gotham's secret society with their own Talon assassins. I mean, Bruce does actually have the same gauntlets as a Talon here, which is very curious. The press conference shows the hierarchy of the GCPD, with the person leading the address front and centre. And it does look like that it's going to be a curious one indeed, as I think a few people in Gotham are going to be kind of for the chop by the Riddler as he tries to stamp out corruption. But a cowless version of Batman watches over. Insert generic emo Black Parade joke here. The Batcave is shown as we hear Andy Serkis as Alfred say that Bruce is becoming quite the celebrity. The man killed is the corrupt mayor, Don Mitchell Jr. The Batcave looks functional and a bit more realistic than previous cinematic Batcaves, as he has to ride through a cemetery to get there. We've actually seen that in kind of set footage that has been leaked as well, We got more Riddler clues as a car crashes into the funeral of the corrupt mayor. It's unclear here, but I think it's going to be an interesting one nonetheless. And a man is trapped and forced to relay a message as Batman saves a kid, just like Batman always does. The car says DOA with prison cell bars on it, which is another clue that maybe Batman put someone away who was innocent, or who actually died in prison, or even Batman actually killed someone. Alfred questions why Batman is being written to of all people, so it must be a deep connection to the past or someone he messed up. I think Batman did do something to the Riddler's parents or a loved one, leading the Riddler to become the twisted version of himself that he actually is. Now, what I would like would be an innocent version of the Riddler who becomes locked up and corrupted in Arkham Asylum, and then he goes on to be the twisted version that he is. Now, Zoe Kravitz here appears as a classic Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman. I didn't like the Dark Knight Rises version of her, but here she's stealing something, again, very early on in her career. She has the ears, but not the iconic true catsuit yet. This looks a lot more grounded and lower tech really than Nolan's work. It's more of a Todd Phillips style comic book movie, very grounded and not over the top and bombastic like the Nolan movies were, although they were very grounded at the time. We must remember that because it's very much that things are of the time. Colin Farrell looks almost unrecognisable as Oswald Cobblepot, aka the Penguin, who is also very early on in his career, and he hates being called the Penguin. I think we will see small cameos of other iconic criminals as the Riddler makes Batman cross paths with all of Gotham itself. Paul Dano sounds amazing as he says, "If you are justice, then please do not lie." He has a voice vocoder there making him sound different, and he's probably alluding to the corrupt GCPD as Catwoman escapes, and there's also shots of her facing Batman. Not sure if this is for the first time, but it's going to be very fun. Catwoman had a big part there in The Long Halloween, which this movie is actually based on, combined with Dark Victory and other comic books. The Riddler is wearing green, but looks nothing like the Riddler we've seen before. In my opinion, he looks more like Hush. Tommy Elliott was actually Hush, who was a childhood friend of Bruce Wayne, but I don't think they'll do a bait and switch here, but it would explain why Batman is actually targeted. However, in the comics, the Riddler actually fed Batman's secret identity to Hush himself. The green jacket with question marks would not really suit this movie in my opinion, and he looks absolutely terrifying here. The Riddler, someone I've never really found terrifying. Even in Zero Year and the War of Jokes and Riddles storylines, he never really was scary, but I did like the War of Jokes and Riddles storyline. Go and check that out if you want to see a different version of the Riddler. And I'm so glad that when Batman faces the gang, he says, "I am vengeance." And to be honest, the Batman line has been done to death in my opinion. It's cool, don't get me wrong, but it's just, it's been done there. And any question that Patterson isn't a badass in this are void as he destroys the gang leader. The Batmobile also looks incredibly cool with a huge rocket booster on the back, and it's looking very much like the whole version from Batman the White Knight, which was an amazing comic featuring a reformed version of the Joker, which I would recommend you go and actually check out. But we also see a chase of the Batmobile in action as he is chasing the Penguin and shot by gang members as the logo actually fills in. It looks like Bruce is talking to the Riddler in his cave as well, showing just how clever and smart this Riddler actually is. I think the trailer looks amazing. It looks so very, very good. And to be honest, it is a nice take on this. The trailer is something which I watched it the minute I woke up because I had to go to bed after I put out my Zack Snyder cut because I was up since 5 a.m. Yes, it is disgusting that time in the morning, and there is a 5 a.m. in the morning, contrary to popular belief. But this looks great. It looks grounded. It looks fun. It looks exactly what I wanted. We've had over-the-top Batman Batfleck, I love you, but we're seeing something different, and it's nice that these Elseworld style multiverse stories are being told by artisan and auteur style creators like Matt Reeves, and he knows action very, very well. So it's going to be fun to see where they actually go next with this, and it will set up the rest of what's happening in the trilogy. I'm hoping they don't go with the Joker, because it's been done again to death, and the Riddler is a bit more interesting in my opinion, I think anyway, because we haven't seen too much of him, save for a Jim Carrey 90s version, which, you know what, I actually liked. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. Please do drop a subscribe with notifications on if you want more, and please do drop a like. Let me know what you want from this, because this is probably going to take me quite a long time to edit, so I'll probably do my Suicide Squad video on Tuesday, and I'll probably do a Black Adam video on Wednesday. Not timely, but unfortunately, I wish I could do this full time to bring you everything as soon as it is uploaded. But that is it for this video. I'll see you soon, and goodbye.